Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Ram
Hare
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram 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 Hare
Hare
Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare Guna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram Ram Ram
Ram,
Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Guna,
Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Hare Guna, Hare
Hare Ram
Shri
Ram
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Guna,
Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Hare Ram Ram Hare
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 Guna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
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 Krishna Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Ram Hare Hare Hare
Hare Guna,
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare 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 Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare
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 Ram,
Hare Ram Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram,
Ram Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Guna,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare
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 Ram, Hare Guna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Guna,
Hare Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Guna,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Ram Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Ram Hare Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram Ram, Hare Hare 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 Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Guru, Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram,
Rama
Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare Ram
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram,
Jai Shri Krishna Jai Dhanu
Hare
Ashwasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama
Hare
Rama Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare Ram Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Hare
Hare Ram Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna
Hare Ram,
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram,
Hare Ram Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna
Hare Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Hare 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 Ram, Hare Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Ram, Hare 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 Ram, Hare
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare Ram,
Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Hare
Hare Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare Ram, Hare Hare Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare Ram,
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna
Hare Krishna. So we'll read Srimad Bhagavatam.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavad pranams.
Dandavad. Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you.
Hare
Okay, so we'll read some
Hare
section on
Ram.
the Yamala Arjun trees and then
Hare
daily Bhagavatam also. So, so Narad Muni thought that these two people, these two sons of Kuver, were very much proud of their wealth. So if I make them poverty stricken, then they will understand. So now we'll see what happens next. By seeing their faces, one whose body has been pricked by pains can understand the pains of others who are pin pricked. So if you have gone through some pain, then you can identify with the pain of others. Because you experience that pain, so then you can, like you had a malaria fever. So if somebody has a malaria fever, then you can like empathize. You can say, yeah, what he's feeling, I also felt one time like that. So you know the pain. So by seeing their faces, one whose body has been pricked by pins can understand the pains of others who are pin pricked, realizing that this pain is the same for everyone. Just like if you have a dental procedure done and you feel some pain, then you can identify with somebody who has also gone through some dental procedure and is feeling the same pain. If you never had it, then you will never know that okay, what pain the other person is going through. That's what this line is saying. Realizing that this pain is the same for everyone, he does not want others to suffer in this way. Sometimes we want others to suffer because we think if I'm suffering, others should also suffer. Then I'm all right. If I'm suffering and others are happy, then that is a problem. Like the example is there, like if you don't have light in your house, right? If electricity has gone off in your house, and if in the neighborhood everybody's light is on, then you have more pain. But if everybody's light is off, then you say, yeah, there's no problem because everybody's light is off, my light is also off. See that how we feel. If everybody is going through the same pain, then it is like, okay. But if only I'm going through the pain, then it's like, why me? So, uh, realizing that this pain is the same for everyone, he doesn't want others to suffer in this way. So actually, those who are a little bit elevated in consciousness, they don't want others to suffer in pain, even though they may be going through pain. But one who has never been pin pricked by pins, cannot understand this pain. So Kuver and Manigriva had never experienced poverty. I mean, Manigriva and Nalakuver, they had never experienced poverty. So they don't know what the pain of being in poverty is. Narad Muni is thinking, it's time to make them poor. They'll realize. Okay, so that is saying the happiness of wealth is enjoyable by a person who has tasted the distress of poverty. More, if you're thirsty and you get water, then you relish the water more than if you're not thirsty. Something like that. There is also another common saying, Vandhya ki bujhe bhi prasava vedana. A woman who has not given birth to a child cannot understand the pain of childbirth because she never experienced that pain. Unless one comes to the platform of actual experience, one cannot realize what is pain and what is happiness in this material world. So the intelligent person, he doesn't, even if he has not gone through pain, he can feel for others, and he will think that even though I'm not going through pain, but maybe in the future I may go through pain like this. Or even if the pain doesn't come in this life, it may come in the next life. And the pain of birth, death, old age disease is common for everybody. I mean, that's a given. Nobody can uh, deny that. So then he tries to actually make a solution. Not that because he's in happiness, then he feels, I will not make a solution. So anybody who is in pain will try to make a solution to the problems of life. Or realizing that this material world is dukkhalayam, then he will try to uh, make a solution, right? I don't want to stay in a, like if you are in a very poverty stricken condition, you don't have any food, you don't have, then you look for food. Where can I get food? Where can I get food? Similarly, if you feel the pain of material existence, then you will see, okay, how can I get out of this pain? And humility means, um, it doesn't mean like, it means you need Krishna's shelter because I am in suffering condition. I need Krishna's help. That is what humility means. It doesn't mean that I'm in suffering and I just say I'm in suffering, I'm in suffering. If you're hungry, very hungry, then what is the natural outcome of that hunger is that you look for food. Where is food? Where is food? And so similarly, when you are feeling in pain, then you look for a solution. Like even if you have some pain, headache or something like that, you go to a doctor, you look for, oh, which doctor can I go to? How can I relieve my pain? You want to get a solution to the suffering. So that's why you go to a doctor. So similarly, when we are feeling that I am in this ocean of birth and death, just going from one body to the next, then the more you feel like that, the more you will take shelter of Krishna. And and the more you are convinced that taking shelter of Krishna is the solution, then the more you have faith that taking shelter of Krishna is going to relieve my suffering, then you will go. If you are suffering and you don't have faith in the doctor, then you will not go to the doctor. Because you think, yeah, even if I am suffering, even if I go to the doctor cannot relieve my suffering. So why should I go there? But so two things are required for making spiritual, to realize our precarious situation in this material existence, and to have faith that Krishna is going to solve my problem of suffering. So then we'll go to Krishna. So here it's saying, unless one comes to the platform of actual experience, one cannot realize what is pain and what is happiness in this material world. The laws of nature act accordingly. If one has killed an animal, one must himself be killed by that same animal. This is called mamsa. Mam means me and sa means he. As I am eating an animal, that animal will have the opportunity to eat me. In every state, therefore, it is ordinarily the custom that if a person commits murder, he is hanged. Okay, so every meat eater deserves capital punishment. In one way, from Krishna's point of view, anybody who's killed an animal, eaten an animal, is deserved to be killed. Why? Because they have committed a murder. So for murder, there is punishment for life, right? So from Krishna's point of view, everybody is his child. Even the animals are his child. And even if one person kills an animal, Krishna takes it very seriously. Oh, he has killed my son. So that is why he gets the reaction in that life or in the next life. They are also going to suffer the same violence. That you inflict violence on others, you get violence back. You inflict pain on others. So law of karma is set up like that by Krishna. Okay, so the next verse we'll read. So these are all the things that Narad Muni is thinking when he meets when he sees Manigrava and Nalakuber in this. They were naked, they were intoxicated, maybe they were drunk, they had Varuni, some kind of intoxicating beverage they had. They were naked and they were in the water, in the Mandakini Ganga with the ladies. And the ladies covered their body, but Nalakuber and Manigriva were completely like intoxicated. So now, a poverty stricken man must automatically undergo austerities and penances because he does not have the wealth to possess anything. Yeah, he can't, he doesn't have, but it is not devotional service because he's forced to, like there are many people in the hospital, right? They are not eating anything. Even on Ekadashi, they are not eating anything. Does it mean they are observing Ekadashi? Yes. From one point of view, from an external point of view, they are observing Ekadashi because they can't eat anything. Let's say somebody in a situation like that. But consciously, they are not observing Ekadashi. It is just because their condition is like that they cannot eat. Of course, there are benefits. We know how Narsingadev pastime, we know how Prahlad Maharaj in his previous life, um, he was in a forest with his, they say, his girlfriend, and they were on a picnic and they quarreled. And they quarreled and they stayed in a place for the night, which was the ruins of a Narsingha temple. And they fasted the whole night. They remained awake, they were fasted, and then he became Prahlad. Some stories there like that. So unknowingly also they get benefited. Sometimes it may seem little illogical that how, but their consciousness is not like that. So many people are dying on so many auspicious days, right? But they are not Krishna conscious. All over the people, so many people are dying every day. Somebody may have died on Janmashtami, somebody may have died on Balaram Purnima, somebody may have died on so many other auspicious days. So will they all get the same destination? That I don't think so, because then consciousness doesn't matter, right? In that case, the consciousness doesn't matter. But Krishna says, Yam yam vapi smaran bhavam tyajanti ante kalevaram tam tam eveti konteya sada tad bhava bhavita. It's not like we are not, we don't feel for them. No, if they get good destination, that's very good. But generally, it is based on consciousness. Even if you die on a not such an auspicious day, but if your consciousness is Krishna consciousness, then you go back to the. But if it's all depending on the consciousness, as far as I understand. Of course, we say in Vrindavan, anybody who dies goes back to the spiritual world. But the consciousness also matters. And Prabhupada also said, right, they may be living in Vrindavan, they may die in Vrindavan, but if they've not done devotional service and committed offenses, then they may come back as an animal also. And then they get purified. So,
But Prabhu, it may happen that they may have done something in their life to deserve to die on a day which was auspicious, which is going to deliver them. It may not happen. Like they say, there are no, what does it say? There is no chance. Everything is planned. So it's not a chance that they died on a certain day. You can't kill yourself on a certain auspicious day. So maybe it is a reaction of karma only.
yeah, it is a reaction of karma, but then the consciousness has to be also, like so many people are dying, right? I mean, on many auspicious days in the hospital, but they may have done a lot of papa in their life. So, uh, yeah, you can say maybe they went to the spiritual world, but we really don't know exactly. I mean, because we have in Bhagavad Gita, it is said that according to our consciousness, we get our next destination.
Prabhuji, many people are dying in this war also, no Prabhuji, that is also because of karma.
Everything happens because of karma only, right? Because, yeah. So, I mean, that's what Prabhupada says. If you kill animals, then every few years there'll be some war. And that's a reaction to the animal killing that many people are doing. So we are getting violence back uh, from that situation, right? From killing animals. So we are being killed by other people. But sometimes somebody may say, well, he was a vegetarian. How did he get die? How did he die in the battle? So karma is very difficult to understand also, because maybe in this life he may have not done anything, but last life or the life previous to that. So we can't make a. I mean, something must be there. That is why this reaction is coming, whether in this life or in the past lives, and we can't understand karma fully because we have had so many lives in this material world. Um, so back to that point that when somebody passes away on an auspicious day, even if they had been sinful, will they get a good destination or not? That is debatable. I don't know. I can't say. But according to consciousness, as Krishna says, if Krishna wants, ultimately, we can say like that, if Krishna wants, then anybody can be liberated. So it depends on Krishna. Okay, but Krishna himself says, based on your consciousness, you transmigrate to the next body. Yeah.
Yeah, in the 8th chapter, there are also some verses. He's talking about the yogi. He says that those who know the Supreme Brahman, I pasted, attain that Supreme by passing away from the world during the influence of the fiery god in the light at an auspicious moment of the day during the fortnight of waxing moon or during the 6 months when the sun travels in the north. So, but he's talking about those who are yogis, like kind
Yeah,
of mystic yogis.
correct. They are like free from all material desires. They are impersonal.
Yeah, not
Impersonal.
like anyone and everyone.
They have qualification and they want that kind of thing, So they want to merge into the Brahma Jyoti or something like that. So they're desiring that. So if you're not desiring, then why things should happen the way? Because that will not be according to our um, liking also, right? Suddenly you find yourself in a spiritual world, but your consciousness is not like that. Then how it will be? Of course, you may say, well, Krishna can change the consciousness. But if he could change the consciousness of anybody, then everybody should become a devotee right now. Why everybody is not taking up? If Krishna were to change the consciousness immediately of everybody, then there would be no material world also. Then everybody would have been in the spiritual world. But Krishna has given that free will and that, you to choose.
Mhm.
So he doesn't force, yeah.
But as this purport was saying, that if somebody does an austerity unknowingly or forced, still there is benefit. So they may get some sukriti, like somebody cannot eat anything because of disease and they did a fast on the day of Ekadashi. We have also heard from Lal Govind Prabhu that's what happened. A person got laid off from work and he was very poor. He didn't eat, and Urvashi was coming from the heavenly planets, and her sari got stuck to eggplant, and she lost all her piety. And so she said, "Is there anybody who did Ekadashi on that day?" And this person who was laid off didn't eat anything, forced austerity. He was able to transfer his piety too. So I mean, there are stories like that. He was saying in one of his
Yeah,
kathas.
that's the one I said about Dev also, right? The
Yeah,
last life of
correct,
Prahlad Maharaj also was
correct.
like that.
Yes. So unknowingly, if you perform some,
Then everybody is doing some devotional service unknowingly in that sense, because so many people are maybe dying on auspicious days, and
Mhm.
so
Yeah, but doing something unknowingly also it depends on the faith of the person, or because like if Muslim does fast on Ekadashi unknowingly, I don't know whether if he has faith, then only he will get some credit. Like otherwise, like how it works, like it depends on the faith of the person. Like I feel like that.
because at other times he may have eaten cow and pig and things like, not pig, they don't eat pig, but they've eaten cows.
Like unknowingly, if we help somebody who's a Vaishnav, we will get so much sukriti. Just we didn't even know that he was a devotee, and just out or that incident is there with Jayapataka Maharaj, right? Who's that was building Rath Yatra carts? Jayananda Prabhu. Like some one boy, American boy, was just passing through the road, and Jayananda Prabhu asked him to help him put a screw in the Jagannath Yatra cart, and that's where doing that led him further into being a sannyasi and dedicating his life to Krishna.
And then mercy of Jayananda Prabhu was there. So mercy of devotee was there to engage him in devotional service. So if there was no devotee and then it just like I don't know how it works, but in hospital, let's say somebody's fasting on Ekadashi, there's no devotee, anything but like that. But they are just because they can't eat, they're fasting on Ekadashi. So maybe they get benefit. I don't know, whatever it is. We don't want to delve too much into it, but we don't know. Krishna knows ultimately.
But the verse is saying that here in Srimad Bhagavatam, undergoing such compulsory austerities is good for him because this purifies him.
This is like a correction for him. Or it says a poverty stricken man must automatically undergo austerities and penances because he does not have the wealth to possess anything. Because he doesn't have wealth, so automatically he's forced to. But in his heart, he may have the desire. But if you don't have money to buy food, then what can you do? You
I
have to
guess
fast.
if you are suffering, then your pap karma is being diminished. So that suffering is purifying him of his
Yeah, so
pap.
correct. Everybody is getting purified in this material world. Whether you're, I mean, I don't know if you're enjoying,
Yeah, that's diminishing your punya karma if you're
but
enjoying.
with that enjoyment, you get more desires for enjoyment. So they also say like that. So when you enjoy, then you get more other desires to stay in the material world to enjoy. So it is also based on consciousness. I mean, you may suffer, but you may not understand. Like how many times we have. Ultimately, everybody will go back home, back to Godhead. That is also there. Um, but how many lifetimes it takes, how long it will take, that will ultimately depend on the jiva's free will also. Now there are instances like where we say in the Kurukshetra war, everybody who died, they went back, they attained Swarup Siddhi. So Krishna can do also that kind of thing because although they were fighting on the side of Duryodhan, and probably they were favoring Duryodhan because they were on the side of Duryodhan. So they were favoring evil against the Pandavas, they were fighting. But when we say because they saw Krishna, maybe their consciousness changed at the time of death and then they went back to the spiritual. We don't know. So that is also there. So Prabhupada says like that. Okay. So many different possibilities. A poverty-stricken man must automatically undergo austerities and penances because he does not have the wealth to possess anything. Thus his false prestige is vanquished. He becomes humble. But is every poor man humble? Maybe, yeah, it is. Thus his false prestige, this verse is saying like that, his false prestige is vanquished. Yeah, because he cannot control, right? Because he doesn't have money, he cannot do things that he needs to do. So if he becomes humble automatic, always in need of food, yeah.
So that's what I mean. Kunti Maharani says materially impoverished. I mean, those who have money, they should also think that actually they are poor, they are beggars, they don't have anything. Krishna, it's all Krishna's. Right? So the advanced devotee's mentality is like that of a poverty stricken man only.
Yeah, like we say, Amrish Maharaj was always a kinchana, as Shukdev Goswami, who didn't have anything externally also. He didn't have any residence to live. But Amrish Maharaj was also in that situation, although he had palace and everything, but in his heart he was like that. So, yeah, so it is a question of consciousness. And so, even if a poor man who doesn't have anything is desiring so many things, then he's not a kinchana because he is not, although he's materially impoverished, but he's not free from material desires. He's thinking, I'll get that and I'll get that. And I'll enjoy like that. But by force of his karma, he's become poor now. But in his heart he has a desire to become rich and enjoy.
Yeah, but not necessary, Prabhuji. Like poor person will remain humble because maybe if he has desires, like he want to get some money or something, he might get thoughts to steal or do something like bad or like that also. Like not necessary. Like I don't feel it is that a poor person will always be very humble.
I think this is contextual. He is talking in terms of Manigriva and Nalaku, where they were very rich, and he's thinking that okay, if they become poor, then their false prestige will be vanquished. So, so yeah, but yeah, we see so much crime also there in the poor poverty. They're doing so many times we don't go to a crime infested area. We say this is not a good area because people are poor and there is a lot of crime of stealing and killing and like that, shooting. So always in need of, so it is ultimately consciousness. You can be wealthy, but you can be in, if you are devoted to Krishna, surrendered to Krishna, you are like impoverished in that sense. Always in need of food, shelter, and clothing, he must be satisfied with what is obtained by the mercy of providence. Yeah, he has to be satisfied. Undergoing such compulsory austerities is good for him because this purifies him and completely frees him from false ego. But not, it is not that everybody who's poor becomes devotee of the Lord. Sometimes I wonder, if people don't have anything to eat, why they don't join the temple? Because they can't maybe practice the lifestyle. Because in ISKCON, everybody is allowed to join if they are sincerely practicing and they want to serve in the temple, then everybody can join. So why, unless the temple is saying no, you cannot come. But somebody is really sincere, he wants to make progress in spiritual life, then even if they are poor, their needs will be satisfied, they can join the temple. So why not everybody is thinking about it like that? I don't know.
Only when
I
the
feel like
pap
because
karma
in
is
their heart they are
destroyed, right?
not pure.
Yeah, I mean, those who join the temple, I mean, yeshavtvantagatam papam jananam purni karmanam, their pap has to be destroyed. They have come to the purified platform. That's why they want to dedicate their life to Krishna.
Yeah, that is, the verse is saying like that, yes, correct. So, if they're in poverty-stricken condition, they have papa, generally speaking, because you are in a poverty, you get low birth and difficult situation because of your karma, because you've done sinful activities, you get all this.
And it's also not necessary. I mean, we have some devotees also. Kulavicha Sridhar and Sudama, they were also poor, but they were great devotees.
They were already devotees, yeah, and their situation was they were poor, yes. So they were naturally attached to the Lord. Sudama, yeah.
So
But
I
I'm
think,
saying somebody is poor, and he doesn't have anything to eat, no place to stay. He can come and live in the temple. But of course, temple also doesn't allow anybody and everybody to live because just because they are homeless and they don't have any place, they have to be really interested in spiritual life also. So, but
Hare
but this
Krishna
is
Prabhuji.
hmm,
I have
right.
one question. A little bit different question what you are talking about. But like if you have a relatives, right, and they are not doing well, I mean they are okay, but then they are not like same level as we are or something, and we want to help them. And then other side, my friend is also she needs also help, but she is really poor and then needs help. But I'm going to be partial because it's my relatives. I'm going to help my relatives, favor my
You
relatives. So how
you're
that
saying,
works?
are you saying about financial help or spiritual help?
Financially, yeah, financially, like if they are, but then I'm going to favor my relatives because they are like my blood relation. So
So your relatives need financial help, and then there is somebody else who is not your relative. They also need financial help.
right, yeah, but you're going to be partial because my relatives are even better than my friends financially situation, but still I'm going to help my relatives and not my friend.
But if
How
your relatives are already in a financial situation well off, then why do they
not
need your
well,
money?
not well, better than that, my friend. I'm comparing with that, like
Okay.
so how, I mean, that means we are partial. We are not making a good judgment, or what? I mean, how does that work?
So there are two things, One is depending on your consciousness. When one is elevated, he sees everybody in Krishna's family. But then there is also like, if it's your son, right? If your son is sick and he needs care,
Hmm.
then you will not think about another. You will give care to your son because he's related to you. It's, yeah, like your responsibility.
Hmm.
uh, then somebody else son who is also sick, because that son is not really your responsibility, because this is your son and you are
Yeah, but
responsible for him.
mine is a different. I mean, this is totally like relatives, I mean, ours we going to take care of it definitely. That will by default parents will do that. Kids, first they will take care of their kids, but about relatives and friend, like
So that depends on your relation with the relation. It may be your
um,
cousin or something, how close you are, and how you feel. It's an individual choice, right? I mean, the way you
but
want to
I'm being
help.
biased. I'm being like
So if it's
I
quite
think
subjective.
Mataji, I feel like because we think on bodily platform, then we think that okay, this is my father, I have to help him first. This is my friend, so maybe like that priority is little different than my own relatives. So when we have that thought process on bodily platform, then we will be definitely partial and act accordingly. But if we have like a spiritual vision, where Prabhuji was saying before that if we see Krishna in everybody, part of Krishna's family, then that time we would be able to act accordingly. Like then that time maybe you will have better judgment that, and not better judgment, but you would treat everybody equally. Whether it's your relative needs help or your friend needs help or other needs help, you would always go and help them, irrespective.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is attachment on the bodily platform. There can be attachment on the spiritual platform also. So,
Mhm.
like if some devotee is sick and then somebody else is sick, right? So
Mhm.
you may have, because you have some relationship with that devotee,
Yeah.
and like that. So then you may help that person. But then there is other consciousness where you see that everybody is in Krishna's family. Everybody is part and parcel of Krishna, as
Mhm.
Joy was saying.
But the inner feeling is like you want to bring our family first, bring up our family, then other people. That's how I feel, that first you take care of your family. I mean, even far relatives, that those consider more than friends. So,
Yeah.
um, okay,
Because sometimes people think that when I am in need, then my family will come to help. Right?
right.
Sometimes people think like that. So I should help my family, because when I am in need, then it's my family who will come to help me, not some stranger, somebody else may come or not come. But so that's also another way people think that, yeah, so it's my family, so I should. So
Mhm.
we are expecting also something in return. So that's also maybe
Yeah.
there. So,
Okay, thank you, Hare Krishna.
but if your family is member is rich and he wants some more riches, and then you want to give them because they can live in
That's not.
I
Ah,
mean,
that's yeah, that is true.
yeah.
And
So
that time I'm not looking into, my feeling is I'm not looking into if they are Krishna conscious is not, because they are my family member. Sometimes they say they are. I mean, they are believing in, but not like what we do, what we practice here. But they believe in. Yeah, I mean, of course, every Hindu believes in some religion. But I ignore that time. My emotion goes more than thinking about if they believe or not and all these things.
yeah, you will also see how they will use your money also. That, right, also means, yeah. Go ahead. So I think Radhika wants to say.
I was just saying that helping somebody can be done on various platforms, not just wealth, right? Prana Artha Diya Vacha, life, intelligence. words, our energy we can use in. So anybody who comes in front of me who's needing of help, you should try to help.
Mhm.
And that may not necessarily be monetary help, but giving them advice and telling them about Krishna is also a great help.
Okay. Yeah, that is true.
And ultimately, Krishna is going to solve their problems and whatever
Right.
financial problems, whatever problems they have.
So, yeah, because nobody can change anybody's karma, but yeah, we can help whatever we can. Um, and if you help them, it may be in their karma that you're going to help them also. So that's why you're helping them. But anyhow, so ultimately, it's your inspiration. Like when there are two services to be done, Prabhupada writes in one of the purports that Yashoda had to feed Krishna and also take care of the boiling milk.
Mhm.
So she had to feed Krishna, but the boiling milk, Krishna gave her I mean, of course, in her heart, Krishna always gives us the right intelligence. If we are devoted to Krishna, then Krishna will give us the intelligence from within the heart, how to act in a situation which will be like more, which will be correct or beneficial. So that is also there.
Right.
And many, I mean, there can be many opinions between devotees and different ways. So, but then you also get inspiration from your heart, from the Chaitya Guru in the heart. So, okay.
I was
Hmm, go ahead,
I was also
Raj.
thinking I was also thinking that we can also maybe use our intelligence, like how this money, if we are doing any financial help, how is this money is being used? Like let's say, for example, one person is using it for the eating non-veg, another person is using it for the some other purpose, better purpose. Um, how it is being used. We may not control everything, but at least we can.
Yeah, like sometimes your relatives are not doing well, and you're giving money to the temple for the construction of the temple. So you may think, well, this person is my relative, and I am not helping him because or her, and I am giving money to the temple for construction or something like that. Should I really divert that money to this person instead of, because temple construction? So many thoughts can come like that, but ultimately Krishna will guide also. And we may think, yeah, this is a spiritual thing. If I give money to this person, he's not even chanting Hare Krishna, he's not Krishna conscious. Should I really help this person? So all these thoughts will come in the mind, and if he's sinful and all these things, where should I really help him? If he's not sinful, he's leading a normal life, just struggling, but he's not Krishna conscious. So then, should I help him? Should I not help him? That's an individual choice to make at what you want to do. So
And
yeah,
also, if a person is doing any sinful activities, if you are involved in it, I mean, I think we also get some kind of a direct
karma.
karma,
Yeah,
like because
yeah,
we're supporting that activity as well
yeah,
directly.
yeah. Like they say, if you provide free medical treatment, and that person's, let's say, some dental treatment you provide, and that person's teeth get fixed, now he's in a better position to eat chicken and things like that. So now you help that person. Of course, we can't judge what that person is going to do in the future, and if we start thinking like that, we can't help anybody. But yeah, there is also that kind of thought process that if you help somebody, what are they going to do? Are they going to increase theirs? Then you help them, so you also kind of, right, liable. So in that way, we have to think some, but yeah, we can't think too much. Otherwise, we cannot help because everybody is not pure. And okay, so a poverty-stricken man must automatically undergo austerities and penances because he does not have the wealth to possess anything. So he's forced. There is austerity that is voluntary, like you all have food and you are fasting on Ekadashi. That's a different austerity. Then you don't have food and you want food to eat, but you are not getting food. Right? There is a forced austerity and there is a voluntary austerity. Thus, his false prestige is vanquished. Yeah, and because he is forced, uh, he's in a helpless situation, so he will not be very, like, proud. When you're in helpless situation, you can't be proud. Always in need of always in need of food, shelter, and clothing, he must be satisfied with what is obtained by the mercy of providence. Undergoing such compulsory austerities is good for him because this purifies him and completely frees him from false ego. Yeah. So in Nalakuver and Manikriva's case, they would realize they had become intoxicated by pride and wealth and like this. So they would understand that, yeah, we were in that situation one time, but now we are in a very difficult situation, and they will become free from their false ego. The whole thing in the material existence is because of our false ego, right? Because we don't want to accept Krishna's supremacy. We want to feel I am the supreme. That's why we have come here in this material world. A saintly person voluntarily accepts a state of poverty just to become free from material false prestige. So voluntarily, saintly person, like Rupa Goswami and Sanatan Goswami, they voluntarily put themselves in a. It's not necessary that we have to do that, but I'm just remembering this, how so many, like Bharat Maharaj, he was in a state of opulence, and then he went to the forest, which is a state of kind of poverty, right? I mean, going from living in a palace to living in a hut. But they accept that kind of poverty state so that they become free from material false prestige. Many great kings left their princely standard of living and went to the forest to practice austerity according to Vedic culture, just to become purified. But if one who cannot voluntarily accept such austerity is put into a situation of poverty, he automatically must practice austerity. So if one cannot voluntarily accept, then maybe by force. Like they say, if you don't, what is that? You have to eat. If you don't control your food intake, then you have to take medicine as food, something like that. So if you eat like anything and everything, and then what will happen? A point will come when you will be forced to not eat so many things because maybe you have health problems and things like that. And so austerity is good for everyone because it frees one from material condition. So it forces one maybe to change one's consciousness. Therefore, if one is very much proud of his material position, putting him to poverty is the best way to rectify his foolishness. And that is Krishna's mercy also. He says, I take away. Krishna will create a situation where one becomes, if one is not accepting him, then he will create a situation where one will become helpless. So, like Indra, for instance, in Govardhan Leela, right? He became very proud of his position and like that. So, Krishna had to intervene to correct his consciousness. So, he was humiliated. He became helpless. He was humiliated in the sense that he tried to kill all the Vrajvasis, but it was not working, and everybody was watching Indra, who is the king of heaven, who has so much prestige, and finally he accepts defeat. So then he comes to the point of accepting Krishna. So the intelligent thing is to accept Krishna, not to be humiliated and then accept Krishna, because that way we have to go through some pain. But if we directly accept, then we avoid so much pain. So because nobody likes pain. Daridrya dosho guna rashi nashi. When a person is poverty stricken, naturally his false pride in aristocracy, wealth, education, and beauty is smashed. Thus corrected, he is in the right position for liberation. So, So he has lost all hope. And there is no, you don't have money, so what will you enjoy in this world without money? You don't have enough to eat. So now you can surrender to Krishna. So it's the right position for liberation. Of course, many people are starving because they don't have, they die because of starvation. That's different situation. They don't come to surrendering to Krishna. So, but rich or poor, it doesn't matter. If you are dedicated to Krishna, then you are in good situation. So, even if you are rich, but if you accept the supremacy of Krishna, then you are a great devotee. And if you are poor and you don't have anything, but you don't accept the supremacy of Krishna, then you are in a bad situation. So, devotee doesn't mean anybody who is poor is naturally a devotee, not necessarily. So, okay. Any comments on that? Here it is contextual. It is talking about Manigriva and Nalakuber. Always hungry, longing for sufficient food, a poverty-stricken man gradually becomes weaker and weaker.
Agnidhra and Nal Kuber were the son of Kubir, right?
Correct. The treasurer of the demigod. So they have a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think in Damodar Leela also their mention is there. They got relieved during that Leela, right?
This is that we are reading about this only. Narad Muni is thinking about delivering. We are in the 10th canto actually. We are reading because of Damodar month coming up. So we are reading that. So always hungry, longing for sufficient food, a poverty-stricken man gradually becomes weaker and weaker. Having no extra potency, his senses are automatically pacified. Your body is not strong, nothing much to eat, then the senses are not strong. A poverty-stricken man, therefore, is unable to perform harmful, envious activities. So, from the, we say, busy foolish is most dangerous. So, at least from busy foolish, they'll become lazy foolish. Busy foolish is very dangerous, like monkey. He's busy but he's foolish, so he'll create. A lazy foolish is like maybe a tree. A tree is not cannot do anything, of course. It's not a move. It cannot move. So Narad Muni is thinking they have such a high position, they have so much wealth, they should be engaged in. Narad Muni wants to make everybody devotee. Instead of using their wealth and everything to serve Krishna and experience the real happiness, they are engaged in sense gratification. So I have to correct their mentality. They have a lot of money, but they are not engaged in devotional service. So I have to correct them. So that's why he cursed them, to correct them, so that they would become devotees of the Lord. And once you become devotee of the Lord, then all your problems are solved because you go back to home, back to Godhead. Then no more health problems, no more financial problems, no more all these other finding a job problem and all this career problem and all this. No problem. In other words, such a man automatically gains the results of the austerities and penances adopted voluntarily by saintly persons. So here it says, in other words, such a man automatically gains the results of austerities and penances adopted voluntarily by saints. So he becomes purified in his consciousness. Maybe not everybody, but here maybe. And then he comes to become like a saintly person. So according to the opinion of experienced medical practitioners, diabetes is a result of voracious eating. So diabetes happens because of eating lot. And tuberculosis is a disease of undereating, TB. We should desire neither to be diabetic nor to be tubercular. Yavad artha prayojanam. We should eat frugally and keep the body fit for advancing in Krishna consciousness. So we should eat frugally means very economically, very just as much as we need. And so the body remains fit. As recommended elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam, So we say we live. Do we live to eat or we eat to live? Which is correct?
We
Or
eat
which
to
one?
live.
We eat to live, not we live to eat. We eat to live. So that is what, and you eat healthy also. Right? So everything, you see, everything that is tasty is not necessarily healthy. That's how, like they say in a multiple choice question, there's only one choice that is right. Most of the choices are wrong. So most of the things that we are attracted to in this world may not be healthy for eating, right? Because there's so many fast food and pizza and this and that, and then may not be healthy, but fried items and sweet items and all these things. Of course, a little bit it's okay, but yeah, that's why fast food is not good for health. It may appear very tasty, but everything that we like, this is another thing, everything we like is not necessarily good for us, either for our body or for our consciousness. We should think like that. Oh, because I like something doesn't necessarily mean it's good for my consciousness or my body. Like sometimes people say, meat eating is very good, you'll get so much protein and so many things, and you'll build your muscles. But it's not good for consciousness. Same with onion and garlic, like that. So, we should eat frugally and keep the body fit for advancing in Krishna consciousness, as recommended elsewhere in Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 10. Kamasya nendriya pritir labho jiveta yavata jivasya tattva jigyasa narthoyas cheha karmabhi. The real business of human life is to keep oneself fit. But of course, we want to be happy. That is another thing, right? So, if we don't find happiness in Krishna consciousness, then we'll want to seek happiness elsewhere, in sense gratification and things like that. So we should pray to Krishna. Krishna, please give me some taste. I have no taste. Krishna, please give me some taste. This taste is good. This kind of prayer is good. I don't want the other taste. I have a lot of other taste, but I want taste for serving you. I want to taste in chanting your holy name. Please give me that taste. Because every taste is not the same. Of course, in America, we say everybody has a right to pursue the happiness the way they want. That is okay. Yeah, somebody likes to drink, somebody likes to eat meat, somebody likes to go to the bar, or somebody likes to go to the, whatever, vacation. And everybody has the right to pursue happiness the way they want under the laws. But not necessarily it is good, because from a spiritual point of view, then everybody is involved in sense gratification. And from a spiritual point of view, why are we saying this is bad? Because it will keep you in the cycle of birth and death. In modern civilization, there is no concept of, they are not thinking about next life and the soul beyond this life, beyond this death. Nobody's thinking like that. Now it's enjoyable, so enjoy. So most people don't have this kind of knowledge. And so sometimes Krishna consciousness is very difficult, because it's saying you cannot do this, you cannot do that, sense gratification. We should try to serve Krishna. We should find happiness in devotional. And we are not getting happiness in devotional service. And we are also told not to do this thing and not to do that thing. Then where were we going to get happiness? So that's why it becomes difficult. So we should pray to Krishna that I want happiness. My consciousness is completely gone. It's in a completely abnormal situation. Krishna, you please help me. I want to come back to my normal consciousness, because that is what Shastra is saying. Our normal consciousness is Jivera Swarupai Krishna Nityadas. That is my consciousness. So we want to come back to our original consciousness. We need help. Like, I'm alcoholic, I'm drinking alcohol. I know it's bad for me, but I can't give it up because I have so much taste for alcohol. So we need help. And that help comes in the association of devotees and spiritual practices, reading Shastra, like that. So the real business of human life is to keep oneself,
So one devotee was saying that if the bhojan is saras, the bhajan is niras. But if the bhojan is niras, the bhajan is saras. Means if you're looking for tasty things to eat, then we cannot focus on Krishna. So be happy with whatever we get. Like that's what Chanakya Pandit says, right? Satisfied with three things: a food that you get, and the wealth that you have, and the spouse that you have.
Hmm.
So we should not seek taste from other material things. We should only seek taste from Krishna consciousness.
Bhojan is saras, then bhajan is niras. Yeah. But
Sounds like a Gujarati quote, but it was nice.
yeah, and bhajan is saras, or bhojan is niras, then bhajan is saras.
Mhm. I mean, we can see how the Goswamis were eating. Of course, we cannot imitate. But eating heavy stuff, we see that, it's not good for the body, unhealthy, and we feel sleepy. So, better take a simple meal.
Hmm.
Then we can be healthy, like fit in the body, and also less sleep is there.
Correct. And sometimes it is genetic also. Like some people eat a lot and they don't put on weight at all. I've had some friends, and some people eat little bit and they like become fat, right?
That's a yogi body, means they don't need much. While the other person who's eating, they feel hungry also multiple times in a day.
It's how you train your mind also. If you are abstaining from thing, then your desire will go down. If the more you indulge in it, the more your desire comes up, right? That's also there. So yeah, it's a training. Like maybe some people are eating once a day, so they become like that, right? Because it's a habit they have formed. So
For some, it's easy. For others, because of the body type, it's difficult. But I mean, everybody can see their body type. But eat prasad, which is simple prasad. Not like I'll make this for myself today and this, planning ahead. How can I enjoy my taste buds?
hmm. For Krishna, you can make, and little bit you can take.
Yeah, correct. And give it out to the devotees. That too, whatever nice cooking you do for Krishna, little bit you take.
Yeah, in Krishna consciousness, we are not deprived. Even if you go to the temple, they have so many things which are, I mean, nicely cooked. Of course, now healthy or not, we have to see. But
Yeah, because most of the sannyasi Maharaj that come, they have a restricted diet. They don't take temple stuff, right? I mean,
hmm,
they have, okay, cook these only vegetables, not this. And so, yeah, because not necessarily the temple prasad may always be healthy if you're eating all the time, right? So,
correct. Yeah, so the real business of human life is to keep oneself fit for advancement in spiritual realization. And of course, they say obesity is the cause of various diseases, right? So Komal knows much about it. So the real business of human life is to keep oneself fit for advancement in spiritual realization. So body and mind should be very healthy. We should keep our mind and body in healthy situation so we can progress in self-realization. Human life is not meant for making the senses unnecessarily strong that one suffers, so that one suffers from disease and one increases in an envious fighting spirit. In this age of Kali, our human civilization is so misled that people are unnecessarily increasing in economic development. So more and more money, more and more money. So that is the whole idea. And as a result, they are opening more and more slaughterhouses. They make lots of billions of dollars are involved in these slaughterhouses. That's a big industry. Liquor shops, so many liquors and brothels. In this way, the whole civilization is being spoiled. So, so Prabhupada is saying that life is not just meant for just increasing. We need money, but it's not like because greed has no end, and then we can engage in so many sinful because we want money, money, and then so in this way, our purpose of life will be spoilt. by excessive greed, and we will not have any time for chanting Hare Krishna and realizing, and then we will leave everything behind, and any time we have to go. So, so that what is the point, right? They say, what is the point? Okay, so one more verse we'll read. Saintly persons may freely associate with those who are poverty stricken, but not with those who are rich. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu didn't want to associate with Maharaj Pratap Rudra because he was rich, he was a king. But not with those who are rich, because with rich people, then you may get diverted. That's why. A poverty stricken man, by association with saintly person, very soon becomes uninterested in material desire. So he has to get, he is in poor situation, but he has to get association of a saintly person. Then he becomes free from material desires, and the dirty things within the core of his heart are cleansed away. So it is said, Mahad Vichalanam Nirnam Grihinam Dina Chetasam. The only business of a saintly person or sannyasi or a person in the renounced order is to preach Krishna consciousness. Sadhus, saintly persons, want to preach to both the poor and the rich. But the poor take more advantage of sadhus preaching than the rich do. So we are middle class. If you are excessively rich, then you don't have time. Right? So because you are so many business and so many things going on and so many phone calls coming and things like that, so many papers to sign. So if you're middle class or poor, then you can take advantage. And sadhus can approach middle class persons easily because they are not, there is not too much security and things like that. So they can go and knock on their door and give them a book. But can you do that for a very rich person? No, because you can't meet a rich person like that. So a poor man receives sadhus very quickly, offers them obeisances and tries to take advantage of their presence, whereas a rich man keeps a big greyhound dog at his door so that no one can enter his house. He posts a sign, beware of dog, and avoids the association of saintly persons, whereas a poor man keeps his door open for them and thus benefits by their association more than a rich man does. And also because they may not be intoxicated by pride, so they are more open to hearing. When a person is very rich, he feels himself very important. And the more you feel important, and more, then what is the need for God? Why should God be more important? So that is generally, I am most important, and my assets and everything. Because Narad Muni, I can do everything by my money and I can achieve anything. So that kind of consciousness comes in. Because Narad Muni's previous life was the poverty-stricken son of a maid servant. He got the association of saintly persons and later became the exalted Narad Muni. So he was a Gandharva who was cursed and he became the son of a maid servant. And because of that, he got the association of Bhakti Vedantas and then he became Narad Muni in his next life. This was his actual experience. So he had personally experienced it. Therefore, he is now comparing the position of a poor man with that of a rich man. Satam prasangan mama virya samvido bhavanti ritkarna rasayana katha tajjoshnadashva apavarga vartmani shraddharatir bhaktir anukramishati. If one gets the advantage of association with saintly persons by their instructions, one becomes more and more purified of material desires. Krishna bahirmukha hoya bhoga vancha kore nikatastha maya tare chapotia dhore. Material life means that one forgets Krishna and that one increases in one's desires for sense gratification. But if one receives the advantage of instructions from saintly persons and forgets the importance of material desires, one is automatically purified. Cheto darpanam marjanam bhava mahatavagni nirvapanam. Unless the core of a materialistic person's heart is purified, he cannot get rid of the pangs of bhava mahatavagni, the blazing fire of material existence. So unless our heart is purified, we cannot go back home, back to Godhead. Yeah, so it is all about purification of the heart, which happens by chanting the holy name. This is the first verse of Shikshashtakam. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam. The more attentively we chant, the more the purification of heart will happen. Because we are now associating with Krishna. Association means there has to be attentiveness. If you're not attentive, then you're not really associated. Like in a class, if teacher is speaking, right, and there are some students who are not listening, they are doing their own thing, they're doing some mischief on the side, they're not getting the benefit. So when we chant Hare Krishna, we have to be attentive. That's why we say it's also an offense to be inattentive while chanting. Because here is Krishna and he has come and I should be attentive to him. I want to be purified. More attentive we are, the more we are in contact with Krishna. And so more purification happens. So that's why Prabhupada says chant and hear. And somebody asked, what about the mind? He says, where is the question of mind? You're chanting with your tongue and you hear the sound with your ear. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So you're not thinking about anything. Just chanting and hearing. So, and when we chant, we should remember this holy name is Krishna himself, non-different. Then Guna, Roop, Leela will come from that also. Okay, so we can pause here for today. From tomorrow, Karthik is starting. Oh,
Yes.
Karthik is starting from tomorrow, so yeah, we can do some extra chanting or whatever. Everybody can decide what they want to do. So we can try, at least we can try. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, at least we tried. So, and if you try, then if it doesn't work, at least some days it will work. So, like that. Okay, so we'll stop here. We can discuss about Sharad Purnima tomorrow, right? It's the first day of Kartik. Sharad Purnima. The Ras Leela happened on Sharad Purnima. So, we'll see if there is any information. Okay. Thank you everyone for joining. Stop. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you.